There's one truth you can't escape. No one's coming to fix your life for you. The moment everything changes is the moment you decide to focus all your energy inward. Your peace, your purpose, your power, they're built, not given. And it starts when you choose you, without apology, without delay. Book, Focus on Yourself, written by Gavin Stroud. Audiobook by readRealm. Introduction. Why you must focus on yourself first. We grow up being told that putting others first is the noble thing to do. We hear phrases like, "Don't be selfish," "Help everyone," and "Sacrifice for the greater good." And while there's beauty in compassion, somewhere along the way, we start losing pieces of ourselves. We ignore our needs, silence our dreams, and begin living on autopilot, disconnected, overwhelmed, and quietly unhappy. Focusing on yourself has been unfairly labeled as selfish. But here's the truth. It's survival. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot lead, love, or serve from a place of burnout. Prioritizing yourself doesn't mean you care less about others. It means you care enough to show up as your best, most authentic self. This book is your permission slip to take your power back. Focus on Yourself is a guide to help you realign with who you are and what you're meant to do. It's for the person who feels lost in the noise, distracted by everything and everyone, yet craving something more. Inside these pages, you'll find the mindset shifts, daily habits, and focus structure you need to create a life that feels true to you. Not just impressive on the outside. This isn't about perfection, hustle, or productivity for the sake of being busy. It's about clarity. It's about learning to say no without guilt. It's about designing your days around your goals instead of other people's expectations. Most importantly, it's about building a relationship with yourself. It's rooted in self-respect, patience, and trust. So who is this book for? It's for the overthinker, the people pleaser, the burned out go-getter, the dreamer who's tired of waiting. If you've ever felt like your life is moving, but you're standing still, this is for you. To win doesn't mean beating others. It means finding peace in your own process. It's waking up excited. It's making decisions with confidence. It's finally feeling aligned with your purpose. This book will walk with you step by step, helping you strip away the noise and reconnect with your own voice. It's time to focus on yourself, not because you're selfish, but because you're finally ready to become who you are meant to be. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Self-discipline. If motivation is the spark, self-discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the excitement fades. We all have days when we feel driven, ready to chase our goals and change our lives. But what happens when the feeling disappears? That's where self-discipline steps in. It's not loud, it doesn't cheer you on, but it shows up consistently, quietly, and powerfully. Self-discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's the decision to choose long-term growth over short-term comfort. Whether you're building a business, improving your health, or healing emotionally, discipline is what turns your intentions into reality. We often make choices based on how we feel in the moment. You're tired, so you skip the workout. You're overwhelmed, so you scroll instead of starting that project. This is emotional decision-making. It seeks comfort, not progress. Logical decision-making, on the other hand, is rooted in who you want to become. It asks, will this move me forward or keep me stuck? To build self-discipline, you don't need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to start small and stay consistent. One effective tool is the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. It creates momentum and helps break the cycle of procrastination. Want to build a habit? Just start with 2 minutes. 2 minutes of journaling, 2 minutes of stretching, 2 minutes of focused work. The habit is more important than the intensity, Another strategy is temptation bundling. Pair something you enjoy with something you resist. Listen to your favorite podcast only while exercising. Watch your favorite show only while folding laundry. It turns discipline into something less painful and more sustainable. You can also create commitment contracts, written or verbal agreements with yourself or someone you trust. Say, if I don't write 100 words a day, I'll donate $10 to a cause I dislike. The idea is simple. Raise the cost of inaction until action becomes easier. Delayed gratification is another essential part of the discipline puzzle. It's training your brain to enjoy the results of effort, not just the instant pleasure of now. The more you delay, the more you grow. Every time you resist a distraction, you strengthen your focus muscle. Self-discipline isn't about being rigid or robotic. It's about honoring your future self. When you keep promises to yourself, you build confidence. You stop waiting for the perfect mood. You start creating the conditions for progress. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to start. One small step, one intentional choice, again and again. And over time, those small acts of discipline become your path to freedom, clarity, and purpose. Discipline doesn't scream. It whispers, I'll show up anyway. And that's where the real transformation begins. Chapter 2, Personal Growth. Personal growth isn't about constantly chasing more. It's about becoming more of who you really are. It's easy to confuse growth with outward success, the promotion, the income, the praise. But true personal growth starts on the inside. It begins with self-awareness, deepens with consistent action, and matures into mastery over time. Growth always begins with awareness, the honest, often uncomfortable moment when you realize something needs to change. Maybe you're stuck in a cycle. Maybe you're tired of feeling lost. Maybe you're simply ready for more. Whatever sparks it, awareness is the light that shows you the path. But awareness alone isn't enough. It has to be followed by action. This is where most people get stuck. They wait for the right time or the perfect plan, but growth doesn't require perfection. It requires movement. As you take action, you start moving toward mastery, not perfection mastery, the ability to understand yourself better, bounce back faster, and make decisions from a place of clarity. Mastery is quiet. It's not always glamorous, but it's powerful. It's knowing you're no longer who you were 6 months ago. And that's enough. A big part of this journey is developing a growth mindset. The belief that your abilities, intelligence, and habits are not fixed. You can improve, you can adapt, you can learn. People with a growth mindset see effort as part of the process, not a sign of failure. They understand that falling short doesn't mean they're not good enough. It just means they're still growing. Challenges are not setbacks. They're data. They show you where your limits are. They reveal what still needs work. When something feels hard, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Shifting your mindset this way turns frustration into fuel. Instead of quitting, you reflect. Instead of shaming yourself, you adjust. One of the most effective ways to stay on track is to create a personal growth plan. This doesn't need to be complicated. Choose books that stretch your thinking. Surround yourself with people who challenge and inspire you. Seek mentors, even if it's through a podcast or a YouTube channel. And always, always invite feedback. Not the kind that tears you down, but the kind that helps you build stronger. Growth isn't linear. It's messy, uncomfortable, and full of detours. But it's also deeply rewarding. The more you grow, the more you see how much power you actually have over your life. You begin to realize that focusing on yourself isn't about isolation. It's about transformation. You don't need to rush. You just need to start. Pay attention to where you are. Take one brave step forward. Reflect, adjust, and keep moving. Over time, those small steps lead you to the version of yourself that you've always been capable of becoming. Personal growth is not a goal. It's a lifestyle, one that begins the moment you decide to stop settling and start evolving. Chapter 3. Time Management. Time is one of the few things in life you can never get back. You can earn more money, rebuild your health, or repair broken relationships. But once a moment is gone, it's gone for good. That's why learning to manage your time isn't just about productivity. It's about taking back control of your life. If you've ever felt like your day disappears without anything to show for it, you're not alone. Most of us aren't short on time, we're short on focus. We let distractions steal our attention, react instead of plan, and wonder where the hours went. But here's the truth. When you don't decide how to spend your time, someone or something else will. One of the biggest time traps we fall into is explained by Parkinson's Law, which says, work expands to fill the time available for its completion. Give yourself a week to complete a simple task, and it'll take a week. But set a clear, tight deadline, and you'll often finish it in a day. This is why boundaries matter. Deadlines create pressure, and pressure creates focus. To truly take control of your time, try time blocking. Instead of working off a long to-do list, schedule your day hour by hour. Block time for deep work, breaks, errands, even rest. It creates structure and protects your focus from outside demands. And when it comes to choosing what to block in the first place, the Eisenhower Matrix is a powerful tool. This simple grid helps you prioritize tasks into 4 categories: urgent and important. Do it now. Important, but not urgent. Schedule it. Urgent, but not important. Delegate it. Not urgent or important. Eliminate it. It's amazing how much energy we waste on things that don't actually move us forward. These are your time leaks. The mindless scrolling, constant notifications, back-to-back meetings with no real purpose. Start by identifying your biggest leaks. Turn off non-essential alerts. Say no to unnecessary calls. Protect your mental bandwidth like it's your most valuable currency. Because it is. A strong time management habit begins with a daily planning routine. Set aside 10 minutes every evening or morning to plan your day. Review your goals. Identify your top 3 priorities and plug them into your calendar. Don't wait for life to slow down. Build your schedule around what matters most. Time management isn't about being busy all day. It's about being intentional. It's about designing a day that reflects your values, not just your obligations. When you control your time, you start to feel more grounded, more confident, and more in charge of your future. You don't need to do more. You need to do what matters. Focus your energy, cut the noise, and reclaim your time. Because when you own your minutes, you begin to own your life. Chapter 4. Morning Routine. Your morning isn't just the beginning of your day. It's the foundation of your mindset. The way you start your morning influences how you think, how you feel, and how you handle whatever comes your way. If you start rushed, distracted, and scattered, that energy often follows you. But if you begin with intention, calm, and clarity, you take control before the world even has a chance to pull you in. Mornings are sacred because they're often the only part of the day that truly belongs to you. Before emails, notifications, and responsibilities demand your attention, you get a quiet space to connect with yourself, your goals, and your purpose. And when you build that space into a daily routine, you're not just creating structure, you're building discipline. One powerful method to shape your mornings is the 6-part Miracle Morning, a concept popularized by Hal Elrod. It's simple, flexible, and highly effective. The acronym is SEVERS, S-E-V-E-R-S. And here's how it works. Silence. Start with a few minutes of meditation, breathing, or prayer. It centers your mind and quiets anxiety. Affirmations. Speak or write positive statements about who you're becoming and what you're working toward. Visualization. Imagine your ideal day, goal, or future. See it in detail. This programs your brain for success. Exercise. Get your blood flowing with movement. Even just 5 to 10 minutes of stretching or walking. Reading. Feed your mind with a few pages of something inspiring, educational, or spiritual. Scribing. Journal your thoughts, gratitude, plans, or reflections. It helps you process and release mental clutter. This doesn't have to take an hour. It can be done in 15 to 20 minutes with a simplified version. The point is consistency and intentionality, not perfection. One crucial habit for a clear morning is avoiding technology first thing. Checking your phone the moment you wake up floods your brain with other people's priorities. Instead, protect that first 30 to 60 minutes. Let your mind wake up naturally. Start your day for you, not for the world. And yes, your routine should match your lifestyle. If you're an early riser, you might enjoy a full Savers routine before the sun's up. But if you're a busy parent, even 10 minutes of stillness and intention can change the course of your day. The goal isn't to copy someone else. It's to build something that energizes you. A great morning doesn't guarantee a perfect day, but it does give you a strong foundation. And the more consistent you become, the more grounded, focused, and empowered you'll feel. You'll start noticing that your day bends more toward your intentions and less toward distractions. Build your morning, and you begin to build your life, one peaceful sunrise at a time. Chapter 5. Mindset Shift. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world and yourself. It's the voice in your head that tells you whether you're capable, whether you're ready, whether you're enough. And for many of us, that voice has been shaped by years of doubt, fear, or failure. If you want to focus on yourself and truly win, the first shift must happen in your mind. At the core of this change is the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset believes your talents, intelligence, and potential are set in stone. You're either good at something or you're not. A growth mindset, on the other hand, believes you can improve through effort, learning, and persistence. The shift seems subtle, but it changes everything. Failure becomes feedback. Effort becomes a strength, and you stop seeing your current state as your final destination. One of the most powerful mindset shifts you can make is replacing the phrase, "I can't," with, "How can I?" When you say, "I can't," you shut the door. But when you ask, "How can I?" you open your mind to possibility. It activates your brain's problem-solving center. Suddenly, you're not stuck. You're curious. You're looking for options instead of excuses. Behind the scenes of your mindset is a powerful part of your brain called the reticular activating system, RAS. It acts like a filter, scanning your environment for information that supports your current beliefs. If you believe you're not good enough, the RAS will find proof. But if you start believing you're capable, that same system will begin finding evidence to match. Your beliefs don't just shape your thoughts, they shape your reality. This is why self-talk matters so much. The words you repeat to yourself, even silently, become the script of your life. If your internal dialogue is filled with doubt, shame, or fear, it will limit how far you go. But if you rewrite that script with intention, you begin to transform. Start by noticing your negative self-talk. Then challenge it. Replace "I always mess things up" with "I'm still learning." And that's okay. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about speaking to yourself with compassion and truth. Add to that the daily practice of affirmations. These are simple, positive statements you say or write each day to reinforce the mindset you want. Examples include, "I am becoming more focused every day. I trust myself to make good decisions. I am worthy of success and peace." Say them in the morning. Write them in your journal. Stick them on your mirror. Let them become the soundtrack of your growth. Your mindset isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And when you learn to direct your thoughts, you begin to direct your life. Shift your beliefs, and everything else begins to follow. Chapter 6. Goal Setting. Goals give your energy direction. They take your focus from scattered to intentional and turn dreams into decisions. But not all goals are created equal. Some are rooted in ego, chasing things we think we should want. Others are born from alignment, clear reflections of who we are and where we want to go. The difference? One leaves you drained. The other drives you forward with purpose. To set meaningful goals, you need more than just motivation. You need a framework. That's where SMART goals come in. SMART for SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Instead of saying, "I want to get healthy," a SMART version would be, "I'll walk 30 minutes, 5 days a week for the next 3 months." It's focused, trackable, and grounded in reality. But beyond that, your goals should stir something in you. That's where HARD means HARD goals enter the picture. They stand for heartfelt, animated, required, and difficult. These are goals that light you up emotionally, heartfelt, that you can visualize. In detail, animated, that feel non-negotiable to your future, required. And that stretch you just enough to grow. Difficult? When your goals speak to both your logic and your soul, they stick. Still, even the most exciting goals can feel overwhelming. That's why it's essential to reverse engineer them. Start with the big vision, then break it down. What would achieving this look like in 1 year? What steps would you need to hit in the next 90 days? What can you focus on this week? When you chunk your goal into manageable pieces, progress feels less daunting and far more doable. But goals don't live in your head. They need to live where you can see them. Visual tracking is one of the simplest ways to stay committed. Use a habit tracker, a progress bar, or a simple calendar where you mark every day you show up. These visuals give your brain a little reward, a cue that you're moving forward. Even when progress feels slow, a string of check marks becomes a chain you don't want to break. And here's the most important part. Make sure your goals reflect your values, not your ego. Are you chasing this because it fulfills you, or because it looks good on paper? Are you striving towards something meaningful, or something that just sounds impressive? When your goals are rooted in your values, discipline becomes easier. You're not forcing progress. You're aligned with it. You don't need 20 goals. You need a few that matter. Start small, start clear, and commit not just to the outcome, but to the person you become along the way. Because goal setting isn't about creating pressure. It's about creating purpose. Set the right goal, and you'll start showing up like the version of yourself who's already won. Chapter 7. Digital Detox. You pick up your phone to check one message, and 45 minutes later, you're still scrolling. We've all been there. It's not just a habit, it's a cycle. A cycle built on constant dopamine hits from likes, notifications, and endless feeds. The more you scroll, the more your brain craves the next hit of stimulation. But behind that flood of information, something deeper is being lost. Your clarity, your presence, your power to focus. Our devices are incredible tools, but they've also become one of the biggest distractions in modern life. We check our phones hundreds of times a day, often without realizing it. Every buzz, ping, or swipe pulls us further away from the present moment and our personal goals. If you're serious about focusing on yourself until you win, you need to reclaim your mind. And that starts with a digital detox. Begin by creating screen boundaries. These are simple rules that protect your attention and energy. For example, no screens during the first hour after waking up or the hour before bed. Designate certain areas, like the dining table or your bedroom, as tech-free zones. These small changes create space for real connection and mental rest. Another powerful practice? Let yourself get bored. Sounds strange, right? But boredom is the birthplace of creativity. When you stop filling every empty moment with scrolling, your mind begins to wander. And in that wandering, ideas are born. Let your thoughts breathe. Go for a walk without earbuds. Sit in silence for 5 minutes. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but over time, it reconnects you with yourself in a way no app ever could. That doesn't mean you have to ditch technology altogether. Instead, learn to use it intentionally. There are apps designed to help you focus, not distract. Focus mode, built into most phones, limits app access during certain hours. Forest turns focus time into a game by growing virtual trees as you work. Rescue Time helps you track your screen time and see where your day is actually going. The key is to let tech work for you, not against you. You don't need to delete every app or move to a cabin in the woods. You just need to take back control. Start with one small change. Maybe it's turning off non-essential notifications. Maybe it's uninstalling an app that steals your time. Maybe it's just putting your phone in another room during deep work. Your attention is your most valuable resource when you protect it. Everything changes. You become more present, more focused, more connected to your goals and your growth. The world will still be there when you come back, but you'll return stronger, clearer, and more in charge of your own life. A digital detox isn't about restriction. It's about freedom. And when you free your mind from constant noise, you make space for your best self to show up. Chapter 8. Emotional Intelligence. Success isn't just about how smart you are or how hard you work. It's about how well you manage your emotions. When life throws curveballs, when people disappoint you, when things don't go as planned, your ability to stay grounded and intentional makes all the difference. That ability is called emotional intelligence. And it's one of the most powerful tools you can develop on your journey to focus on yourself until you win. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, isn't just one thing. It's made up of 5 key components. 1. Self-awareness, recognizing your emotions as they happen. 2. Self-regulation, managing your emotional responses rather than being ruled by them. 3. Motivation, staying driven from within, even without external rewards. 4. Empathy, understanding and connecting with the emotions of others. 5. Social skills, navigating relationships with clarity, confidence, and care. Let's start with self-awareness. This is the foundation of EQ. You can't change what you don't recognize. Begin with daily emotional check-ins. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Go beyond good or bad. Are you anxious, overwhelmed, hopeful, frustrated? Naming your emotions reduces their power. It creates space between you and the feeling. Next comes self-regulation, the ability to respond instead of react. Reactions are quick, emotional, and often regrettable. Responses are thoughtful, grounded, and aligned with your values. The secret? Pause, breathe, reflect. That gap between stimulus and response is where your power lives. Motivation, in the emotional intelligence sense, comes from within. It's not about gold stars or praise. It's the drive to pursue growth, even when no one's watching. High EQ individuals know their why, and they let it guide their choices, even on tough days. Then there's empathy. This isn't just feeling bad for someone. It's understanding where they're coming from, even when you don't agree. Empathy builds bridges instead of walls. It helps you lead with compassion, not judgment. It strengthens every relationship in your life, including the one with yourself. Finally, social skills tie it all together. This means listening actively, setting boundaries, resolving conflict, and communicating clearly. When your emotional world is stable, your external world becomes easier to navigate. You don't need to master this all at once. Start small. Check in with your emotions each morning. Practice pausing before you speak. Reflect on what triggers you and why. Instead of pushing emotions away, lean into them. Feel them. Learn from them. When you understand your emotions, you stop being a prisoner to them. You make better decisions. You show up with integrity. You lead yourself with grace. And in that space of emotional clarity, you become unstoppable. Emotional intelligence isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about knowing yourself well enough to stay rooted, even when life gets messy. And when you master your emotions, you take one giant step closer to mastering your life. Chapter 9. Self-care. Self-care has become a buzzword, often reduced to spa days, scented candles, or an excuse to escape responsibilities. But true self-care goes far deeper. It's not about indulgence. It's about maintenance. It's about resilience. It's about taking care of your energy so you can show up for your life with clarity, focus, and strength. When you focus on yourself until you win, self-care isn't optional. It's essential. Real self-care is intentional and layered. It covers 4 key areas: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Physical self-care might mean getting enough sleep, eating nourishing foods, moving your body, or going to that checkup you've been putting off. Mental self-care could be unplugging from the news, setting boundaries with your time, or spending 10 minutes in quiet reflection. Emotional self-care might look like journaling, therapy, or talking to a friend who truly sees you. And spiritual self-care? That's whatever grounds you. Meditation, prayer, nature walks, or moments of awe. It's important to remember that self-care isn't indulgence. It's responsibility. Choosing to go to bed early instead of staying up scrolling? That's self-care. Saying no to a commitment that drains you? Self-care. Taking a 15-minute walk outside between tasks? Absolutely self-care. It's not always glamorous. Often, it's the quiet, consistent choices that protect your well-being before burnout ever has a chance to hit. Think of it this way. Your energy is a battery. Every decision you make either recharges or drains it. And when that battery runs low, your focus slips, your motivation fades, and even small tasks feel overwhelming. That's why caring for your energy has a real return on investment. It pays off in your productivity, mood, and clarity. When your tank is full, you lead with strength instead of survival. To make self-care stick, set a few non-negotiables in your daily routine. These are simple actions that protect your well-being, no matter how busy life gets. For example, a consistent bedtime to ensure quality sleep, drinking enough water throughout the day, taking short breaks between tasks to reset your focus, a few minutes of quiet time. No screens, no demands, just space to breathe. Start small. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Pick one area, maybe physical or emotional, and commit to a tiny act of self-care each day. Over time, it becomes a habit, then it becomes a boundary, and eventually, it becomes your baseline. You deserve to take care of yourself, not because you've earned it, but because you're worth it. Because your dreams, your growth, and your peace all depend on your ability to sustain the journey. And the best way to stay in the game? Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Self-care isn't a reward for doing well. It's the foundation that helps you do well. Build it, honor it, live by it. Chapter 10. Daily habits. Success doesn't come from one big leap. It comes from the tiny steps you take every single day. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently. That's the power of daily habits. When you build small routines aligned with who you want to become, you create change that lasts. This is how you focus on yourself until you win, not through willpower, but through structure. James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, breaks habit formation down into 4 simple steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue is the trigger that starts the habit. The craving is the desire that follows. The response is the actual behavior. And the reward is what satisfies you and teaches your brain to repeat it. Let's say your cue is waking up. Your craving is to feel alert. Your response is stretching for 5 minutes. Your reward is feeling more awake. With repetition, your brain learns. Wake up gives stretch gives feel good. And it starts to do it automatically. One powerful technique is habit stacking, pairing a new habit with something you already do. For example, after I brush my teeth, I'll journal for 2 minutes. After I make my morning coffee, I'll read 1 page of a book. After I turn off my work computer, I'll take a walk outside. By anchoring a new habit to an existing one, you reduce friction. It feels natural, not forced. Consistency is more important than intensity. You don't need to meditate for an hour. Just start with 1 mindful breath. You don't need to run 5 miles. Just put on your shoes and step outside. The key is to show up every day, even in small ways. And one of the best ways to stay on track is to keep a habit tracker. It could be a journal, a calendar, or a simple checklist. Each checkmark becomes a quiet promise kept over time. It builds momentum and confidence. But habits aren't just about action. They're about identity. Every time you follow through on a habit, you cast a vote for the kind of person you want to be. If you journal each night, you're becoming someone who reflects. If you move your body daily, you're becoming someone who prioritizes health. The shift is subtle, but powerful. You're not trying to become someone new. You're revealing who you've been all along. Start with 1 habit, 1 small, meaningful action you can take each day that aligns with your purpose. Repeat it until it becomes part of you. Then build from there. Over time, your habits create your rhythm. Your rhythm creates your focus, and your focus creates your results. Don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to show up today with 1 action, 1 habit, 1 step toward your future. That's how you win. Quietly, consistently, daily. 11. Productivity hacks. Productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters without draining yourself in the process. We live in a world that glorifies busyness. But being busy doesn't always mean being effective. True productivity is working with intention, not just intensity. It's about focusing on what actually moves the needle while protecting your time, energy, and peace. One of the most powerful productivity principles comes from Cal Newport's concept of deep work versus shallow work. Deep work is focused, undistracted time spent on high-value tasks like writing, planning, learning, or creating. This kind of work requires full presence and leads to real progress. Shallow work, on the other hand, includes the quick replies, status updates, and surface-level tasks that keep us feeling busy but rarely lead to real growth. Key is to protect blocks of your day for deep work. No distractions, no multitasking, just full focus. Next is the 80-20th rule, also known as the Pareto principle. It suggests that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. Take a moment to ask yourself, what are the few actions that create the biggest impact in my work, relationships, or health? Focus on those. Eliminate or delegate the rest. When you prioritize the essential, everything becomes more manageable and meaningful. Another simple but game-changing strategy is batching. This means grouping similar tasks together instead of constantly switching gears. For example, answer all your emails in 1 block of time rather than throughout the day. Record all your content in 1 sitting instead of spreading it out. Each time you switch tasks, your brain loses momentum. Batching helps you stay in the flow, and flow is where the magic happens. And if you've ever found yourself staring at a task and feeling stuck, try the Pomodoro technique. Set a timer for 25 minutes and focus on one task only. When the timer goes off, take a 5-minute break. After 4 rounds, take a longer 15 to 30-minute break. These short sprints of deep focus followed by short rests help reduce fatigue and increase clarity. It's especially effective for tasks you've been avoiding or overthinking. Lastly, set boundaries with your time. Protect your deep work hours. Like a sacred appointment, turn off notifications. Let others know when you're not available. Say no more often. Not out of rudeness, but out of respect for your focus. You can't do everything, and you don't need to. Productivity isn't about working yourself into exhaustion. It's about working smarter, not harder. It's about aligning your energy with your priorities. And most importantly, it's about creating space for what truly matters: your goals, your growth, and your peace. Small shifts in how you work can lead to massive shifts in how you live. So take back control of your time. Eliminate the noise and choose to work in a way that honors your focus and your future. Chapter 12. Self-reflection. In a world that moves so fast, it's easy to get caught in the flow of doing and forget about being. Days blur together, weeks pass without pause, and before you know it, you've been busy, but not necessarily growing. That's where self-reflection comes in. It's the quiet habit that brings clarity, the pause that helps you reset, and the mirror that shows you who you're becoming. Self-reflection isn't about overthinking or obsessing over mistakes. It's about awareness, looking inward with honesty and curiosity. It's how you figure out what's working, what's not, and what needs to change. Think of it as your internal GPS. Without checking in, you might be going fast, but in the wrong direction. A great starting point is a weekly reflection practice. Set aside 15 to 30 minutes at the end of each week to ask yourself 3 simple questions. What went well this week? What distracted me or pulled me off track? What did I learn about myself, others, or life? These questions help you notice patterns. Maybe you felt more energized on days you took breaks. Maybe you realized a certain person or habit drains you. This isn't about judgment. It's about information. The more aware you become, the more intentional you can be. Another powerful habit is end-of-day journaling. Keep it simple. Here's a quick template you can use every night. 1 win from today. 1 challenge I faced. 1 thing I'm grateful for. 1 thing I'll do better tomorrow. This 5-minute ritual helps you process the day, release any emotional weight, and wake up with a clearer mind. Over time, it becomes a way to track your growth and reconnect with your purpose daily. To deepen your self-awareness, try simple self-awareness exercises. One example is mirror talk. Standing in front of a mirror, looking yourself in the eye, and speaking with kindness and truth. It might feel strange at first, but it builds a stronger relationship with yourself. Another tool is the life audit. Once a month, rate key areas of your life, health, relationships, career, mindset on a scale of 1 to 10. Ask yourself, where am I thriving? Where am I just surviving? Use the answers to adjust your focus. And don't forget to celebrate. Most of us are quick to criticize ourselves, but slow to acknowledge progress. Celebrate the small wins, the habit you kept, the boundary you held, the fear you faced. At the same time, be willing to course correct when things aren't working. Reflection isn't just a mirror, it's a steering wheel. You can always shift direction. Self-reflection is where clarity begins. It's how you stay aligned with your goals and connected to your truth. When you reflect consistently, you stop running on autopilot. You begin to live with purpose, awareness, and growth. Take the time to look inward. Not just to understand where you are, but to decide where you're going. That's how you keep moving forward, focused and unshakably. Aligned with your vision. Chapter 13. Purpose-driven life. Purpose isn't a destination. It's a direction. It's not always a job title or a lifelong calling. Sometimes it's a quiet pull towards something meaningful, something that makes you feel alive, grounded, and useful all at once. Living a purpose-driven life means aligning your actions with your inner values, not external noise. It means waking up with clarity, not because life is perfect, but because it finally feels right. So, what is purpose, really? It's a mix of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can offer. A beautiful balance known as ikigai, a Japanese concept for reason for being. Purpose also shows up in moments of flow, those times when you lose track of time because you're so deeply engaged. And it often grows from contribution, the feeling that your life is adding value to others in some way. But here's something most people overlook. You don't find your purpose by sitting still and thinking about it. You find it by doing, by trying, failing, reflecting, and repeating. Purpose reveals itself through action. That project you keep coming back to, that issue you care deeply about, that thing you do even when no one's watching. Those are clues. Don't wait for clarity before you begin. Begin, and clarity will find you. Sometimes you don't even realize you've drifted off course until life feels heavy and dull. Here are a few signs. You're out of alignment with your purpose. You're constantly exhausted, even when you're not physically overworked. You feel unfulfilled. Even when things look good on paper, you procrastinate often, not out of laziness, but because your heart isn't in it. You keep asking yourself, is this it? When those feelings show up, don't ignore them. They're not signs of failure. They're signals to pause, reflect, and realign. One of the most powerful ways to anchor yourself in purpose is to write a personal mission statement. This isn't about making it perfect. It's about putting words to what you stand for. Ask yourself, what do I value most in life? What kind of impact do I want to make? What lights me up and gives me energy? Then craft a simple sentence that reflects your direction. Something like, my mission is to grow, serve, and create in a way that uplifts myself and others. Keep it visible on your mirror, in your journal, on your phone. Let it guide your choices. Purpose doesn't mean pressure. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to be moving in the right direction, toward what feels honest, meaningful, and true. That's how you build a life that's not just successful, but significant. When you live from purpose, your focus sharpens, your energy aligns, and you begin to rise, not just to win, but to become the version of yourself you were always meant to be. Chapter 14. Focus until you win. Here's the truth most people don't talk about. Success is boring. It's not always exciting or dramatic. Most of the time, it looks like showing up day after day, doing the small things that no one sees, staying steady when it feels like nothing is happening. But that's exactly how the breakthrough comes, quietly and after consistent effort. When you decide to focus on yourself until you win, you're choosing to play the long game. There will be days when progress feels invisible, days when doubt whispers, is this even working? But growth is rarely instant. It's compounding, like water carving through stone. Your consistent choices, journaling, saying no, reflecting, building habits, are adding up, even when you can't see it yet. Every small action counts. Every workout, every deep breath, every time you choose growth over distraction. The compound effect is subtle, but powerful. It's the result of doing the right thing over and over, without expecting overnight rewards. You plant the seeds, nurture them, and trust they'll bloom in time. They make that consistency easier, Create an environment that supports your focus. That means more than just a tidy desk. It means surrounding yourself with people who encourage your growth, not distract you from it. It means limiting your exposure to chaos, comparison, and noise. It means designing your space and routines to pull you into your purpose, not away from it. Ask yourself, what triggers my focus? What drains it? Then adjust accordingly. Maybe it's turning off notifications. Maybe it's blocking time for what matters most. Maybe it's stepping away from people who make you question your worth. Protect your environment like it's sacred, because it is. And finally, let's talk about what it really means to win. It's not about perfection, constant hustle, or proving anything to anyone. Winning is alignment. It's waking up and realizing your actions match your values. It's trusting yourself. It's knowing that you're no longer living for approval, but for purpose. It's peace, fulfillment, presence. There's no final destination where everything becomes easy, but there is a place where it feels right, where you're no longer chasing life, but living it. And you get there not through force, but through focus. So keep going. Stay grounded in your why. Keep showing up, even when no one's clapping. Because one day, without even realizing it, you'll look around and see that you've become the person you used to dream about. Not because you rushed, but because you stayed. Focus until you win, not just in results, but in who you become. And when you do, you'll know the quiet work was always worth it. Conclusion. Your journey starts now. You made it. You've walked through the mindset shifts, the habits, the structure, and most importantly, you've taken the time to focus on you. But this isn't the end. In fact, this is where the real journey begins. Growth isn't something that happens all at once. It's a daily decision, a choice to keep showing up, keep learning, and keep becoming. There will be days when you feel strong and clear, and there will be days when you feel tired, distracted, or unsure. That's okay. Progress isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. What matters is that you keep choosing yourself, again and again. Right now, before life pulls you back into its usual rhythm, I want you to choose one chapter from this book. Maybe it's the one that challenged you. Maybe it's the one that inspired you most. Go back to it, reread it. Apply just one idea from it today, not tomorrow. Today. Because action is how transformation begins. And if you ever find yourself doubting your path, wondering if you're behind or off track, remember this. You're not lost. You're just early in your journey. Every step forward counts. Every quiet decision to grow is a win. Every moment you choose to focus on yourself, you're rewriting your story. You have everything you need to build the life you want, not by chasing anyone else's version of success, but by aligning with your own purpose, your own pace, and your own power. So take a deep breath, stand tall, and take the next step. Your journey doesn't start when everything's perfect. It starts now, and this time, it starts with you. Thanks for joining us in readRealm, where every book finds a voice. If you enjoyed this audiobook, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new upload. Got a book in mind? Drop it in the comments. You're next. Favorite listen could be our next upload. Until then, keep your mind open and your headphones on.